This is Napoleon's first campaign. This is 3 videos from Epic History TV. I'm just guessing. Just throwing that out there. The Little Corporal. I was told this is a new series from Epic History TV, new Napoleon series. There's only 3 videos so far. This one, 27 minutes. I'm going to break it into 13.5 minutes-ish. And so we're just going to roll with it and see what they have to say.
F Productions collaboration. In 1796, at the height of the French Revolutionary Wars, a young French general took charge of a ragged, demoralized army in northern Italy. It was his first command. Many expected him to fail. Instead, in just 1 month, he won his first brilliant campaign. With astonishing self-confidence, boldness and energy, he led his army to victory after victory, transforming the war in Europe, winning praise from a grateful republic, and forging a legend. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte's first campaign, and the dawn of a new age.
I love the hair.
1792. Europe is plunged into conflict by revolution in France. At first, it seems this infant republic will be quickly snuffed out by her neighbors. Incredibly, France clings on, thanks to mass mobilization, patriotic fervor, and her traditional military power. In 1795, France occupies the Low Countries, while Prussia and Spain withdraw from the war. But the French Republic still faces a powerful coalition of enemies, which includes the Austrian Empire and kingdoms of Piedmont, Sardinia, Naples, and Great Britain, as well as a counter-revolutionary revolt in the Vendée region of western France. In Paris, the most extreme revolutionaries had been toppled, sent to the guillotine, as they had sent so many before them. France is now governed by the Directory, a more moderate 5-man committee, which quickly wins a reputation for corruption and inefficiency.
Of course they did.
Nevertheless, in 1796, they plan a major military offensive to knock their most dangerous adversary, Austria, out of the war. The 2 main efforts will be made along the Rhine by powerful armies under General Jourdan and General Moreau. A third effort, of which much less is expected, will be made in northern Italy. The French Army of Italy is a poor cousin, starved of money and supplies, stripped of troops to reinforce French forces on the Rhine. But its fortunes are about to change. On the 2nd of March 1796, the Directory appoint a new commander to lead the army, one of France's youngest generals, Napoleon Bonaparte.
So he had to have been good enough to become a general. They didn't just bestow that on him. Because they're always making it sound like he just he fell into the generalship. I don't know. He had to have done something to have deserved it. He didn't, I just said the same thing.
We're delighted to welcome back as video sponsor NapoleonSouvenirs.com, the online shop for all fans of the Napoleonic era. Since 2010,
my nephew would love that stuff.
Napoleon arrives at the Army of Italy's headquarters in Nice on the 25th of March. He is just 26 years old. 2 years have passed since he masterminded French victory at the Siege of Toulon. Since then, his fortunes have been mixed. A short spell as artillery commander in Italy, 10 days in jail when his political patrons fell from power. He then refused to serve in the Vendée, fighting French counter-revolutionaries, leading to several months' unemployment in Paris. Then, an extraordinary break. 13 Vendémiaire, Paris. A royalist mob threatens to storm the national government. Napoleon is the closest general to hand and put in charge of its defense. He disperses the crowds with brutal efficiency and is acclaimed savior of the revolution. A grateful Directory promotes Napoleon to General of Division and awards him command of the Army of Italy. On the 9th of March, he marries his great love, Joséphine de Beauharnais, and leaves for the front 2 days later. There are French generals in Italy with a better claim to command than Napoleon. Serrurier, a professional soldier who first saw action in the 7 Years' War, a decade before Napoleon was born. Augereau, a tough, experienced soldier, bold tactician, and committed Republican. And Massena, risen from the ranks, fearless, tireless, hero of the Battle of Loarno against the Austrians the year before. All three would later become marshals of Napoleon's empire.
I was going to say, they all sounded familiar. The first one, not as much, but the other two did have a ring to it. It's been a while since I've done those videos.
For now, Napoleon seems to these veterans young and underqualified, a political appointment, embarrassingly infatuated with his new wife. But there is something about the Corsican. As Massena observed, his small size and puny face did not put him in their favour, but as soon as he donned his general's hat, he seemed to grow by 2 feet. Napoleon impresses above all with his tireless energy, and he has much to do. His army is organised into Massena's advance guard of 2 divisions, one led by a hard-fighting Swiss general La Harpe, and the other by Meunier, whom Napoleon soon decides is incompetent. The main body comprises the divisions of Augereau, Serrurier, and 2 smaller divisions under Macquart and Garnier. The cavalry is led by General Stengel. But the Army of Italy has been shockingly neglected by the Directory. The men are hungry and unpaid, with a few units on the verge of mutiny. Some men don't even have shoes or muskets. Napoleon inspects the troops and studies reports. He enforces discipline and breaks up.
This guy over here looks like he's missing half his face. He's a zombie. Look at him, eyeballing him. He's like, oh, I'm gonna eat that guy. As soon as I completely turn into a zombie, he's the first one I'm devouring. And I understand, it's just art, man. I get it. Yeah, I get it, I know. But that guy looks like he's been through the ringer several million times.
Up rotten units. He is assisted by his aide-de-camp, Junot, Marmont, and a dashing cavalry colonel, Joachim Murat. As emperor, Napoleon will make 2 of these men dukes, and 1 a king. His most valuable assistant is his new chief of staff, General Berthier, who helps him to reorganize the army's supply system and scour southern France for food, transport, and forage. The situation begins to improve.
By the way, I am, for all the marshals, I am Team Oudinot. I think it's how you say his name. The man who's been shot 30-some times, and every time he was shot, people cheered. That's my guy.
But Napoleon knows what will really rejuvenate his ragged divisions. Victory in battle, and the promise of plunder.
You know, that'll do it. Sorry. Chewing on some ice. Okay, back to the video. Victory, plunder, they tend to go hand in hand. Ah, did it again. That seems like the same kind of speech I would expect to hear from like an Alexander the Great. I'm going to lead you into this rich, fertile land, and we're going to conquer, we're going to take it, and this is yours.
Napoleon has spent 2 years studying the situation in northern Italy and the history of past wars here. He has developed clear plans on how the campaign must be fought. Now, he will put them into action. Napoleon, with 38,000 troops, outnumbers the Piedmontese and the Austrian army. But if they combine, he will be outnumbered, so he must prevent this at all costs. His plan bears all the hallmarks of what will become known as the Napoleonic art of war. A bold, rapid advance, not against the expected target, Genoa, but Dago. Here he will occupy the central position and prise his enemies apart.
Yeah.
He knows that when threatened, the Piedmontese will retreat on their capital Turin, the Austrians on Milan. With his enemies divided, unable to support each other, he can defeat each in detail. Napoleon's plan will be aided by the fragility of the Austro-Piedmontese alliance. They regard each other with deep distrust after years of rivalry. The new Austrian commander, General Beaulieu, is experienced and was once considered energetic, but he is now 70 years old and does not know Italy. He is convinced the French will target Genoa, the port used by the British to supply their coalition allies. So much so that he rejects Piedmontese plans for close cooperation. Their troops remain scattered across mountain passes in a general defense against invasion. On the 4th of April, Napoleon moves his headquarters forward to Albenga in preparation for his offensive. But Beaulieu strikes first. On the 10th of April, Austrian troops take Voltri to disrupt the expected French attack on Genoa. The small French garrison falls back to join Massena's advance guard at Savona.
But that's okay because he's not going there, he's going for the other one. So it in a way, whether they stayed there or they went down to Genoa I don't think it really matters. Because you can attack there if they go down to Genoa and then was it Dago? Huh? They fled back. Maybe they go to Genoa. You can turn and hit them. You still kept them separated. Do you know what I'm saying?
But Beaulieu's fixation with Genoa is playing into Napoleon's hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Dago, with its vital crossroads that link the Piedmontese and Austrian armies, is covered by just 8,000 men of Argenteau's corps. Mountainous terrain means Beaulieu can only march to Argenteau's aid via Acqui, more than 20 miles to the north. What's more, Argenteau has orders to take French positions at Montenotte as a diversion for the attack at Voltri. But the French cling on courageously. Corporal Roache particularly distinguishes himself, exposing himself to enemy fire to shoot down on the enemy. His commander, Colonel Rampont, tells his men, "Here we must conquer or die," a moment which quickly enters French military folklore. It's the perfect setup for Napoleon. The enemy's attention is focused on Voltri, and Argenteau's corps has been left dangerously exposed. he swings into action, sending La Harpe's division to reinforce Rampont's troops, while Massena makes a tough night march across steep ravines in rain and fog to turn Argenteau's right flank. By dawn, the Austrians...
He's trying to get him now to go over to the, what would have been the right hand. He's trying to get him to kind of coalesce with the other side, just to make sure they keep them separate. If Napoleon knew that he was trying to guard Genoa, it would have almost been beneficial to have a ship or two go up and threaten, I want to say Voltaire, but that's not right. Voltaire and Genoa, kind of like hit him with, get close and just kind of bombard it a little bit, just to really kind of bring them over. But I think the British would be there, so it doesn't work as well. Because those ships are just really feinting a distraction. But then you get the British that would probably attack them, and you don't want to leave those guys out there.
Are outnumbered, outflanked, and under heavy attack. They retreat in disarray. Napoleon orders Massena to move on Dago, while he turns his attention to the Piedmontese. But Augereau's advance gets held up at Cosseria. The old castle is held by Piedmontese and Croatian grenadiers. The French launch frontal attacks into withering fire and suffer hundreds of casualties. When the colonel of the 18th Demi Brigade is killed, a 26-year-old Louis-Gabriel Suchet takes over command. "I have never seen fire like it," wrote Marmont, Napoleon's aide-de-camp. Despite heroic resistance, the hopelessly outnumbered garrison surrenders the next day. With Serrurier's division also advancing from the south, Piedmontese commander General Colli has little choice but to abandon his position at Montezemolo. The same day, under Napoleon's watchful eye, Massena takes Dago.
Okay, that's where we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it where he just took Dago. Okay. So, we're going to stop it there, and I've got to do something, but then I will be right back to finish this video. But you will not have to sit around and wait for me to do all that stuff, because I'm going to end the video here. I'll come back and finish it, baby. That's how we do it here. So, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Be ready for part 2.